Alrighty guys, I'm Morthadon and we are back for Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Season 2, Episode 12, the finale of this season. So I just got done watching Episode 11. It was really good. I really loved some of the really funny moments we had in that episode. Ares is definitely the weird, jokey, wholesome kind of character. He's very silly and everything. But he ended up taking Hestia and then was sort of recovered, but she fell off a cliff into a river with Belle, and I think, didn't Eyes jump down there too? I actually didn't talk about that. Eyes jumped down there too, so I wonder if Eyes is going to be looking for them, because my theory is that Belle and Hestia are going to wash up somewhere and have a conversation, because they'll be alone, and Belle's been meaning to apologize and stuff. But I feel like it'd be weird if Eyes is there. So I imagine Eyes is just going to be looking for him and can't find him, and they're just going to be off somewhere having this conversation. That's my theory. But yeah, so let's just start the episode and see if my idea comes right. Alright, we're going to start the episode here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Alright. Raining. What? Just find a random cabin? Alright. Yeah, where are you? The mayor's house. So I saved him. Okay. Just skip past all of that. Alright. Is that the mayor? Maybe not. Oh, okay, he is. He's very respectful. He kind of seems like a wholesome old man. Seems like he has some kind of story, though. They really focused on him, which is interesting. Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Ba 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 ba. Na 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 na. I was gonna cook scrambled eggs tonight, and yes, I said tonight. I eat my breakfast foods late at night, but I'm kind of in the mood for hard-boiled eggs. Maybe I won't do that this time. Hopefully Essie's fine. I'm sure she is. They said adventurers are way stronger than armies like that. The last We saw she had a chain around her leg while she's trying to fly. Oh. Oh. What's... I wonder what the crest he was looking at is. I don't recognize it, but I'm not good at remembering all the... If it's like a crest of a god or a goddess that we've seen, I'm not really good at recognizing those. Aw, kids. You know, a festival. Yeah. Eyes in a different outfit. Aww. Eh, all the ones that are important are. Except for the frog. I just realized what I said. Shit. Yep, bringing up the Black Dragon again. Damn, it's just a scale and it's the size of Bell. Damn. Oh, really? Interesting. They ward off the monsters? Hmm. Well, I mean, to be fair, it's not like it's the Black Dragon's will to protect it. It just happens to be that monsters avoid these scales, you know? Oh, shit. What does she know about the Black Dragon? She looks... Be careful what you say, Belle. She looks pissed. Interesting. Was her parents part of Zeus and Hera's familia, maybe? Oh. I want to hear more about this old man. What is it? Yeah, that's my first thought. Oh. Damn. Very convenient. Oh, shit. And there she goes, never to be able to return, right? Damn. Adopted, okay. I was about to say, is it actually his kid with a goddess? Or... But no, adopted, okay. Yeah. Oh. Damn. Walla wants it. He's a rabbit? Everyone calls him that. Eyes is so confused. Cool. Alright. Time to dance. No, I don't think so. Hmm. I don't know why. I'm always looking at eyes and her like lack of expressions whenever this is happening. She's always just looking like, like, just straight faced. Oh, she's dancing with the kids. Hmm. Well, technically, it's funny that Belle is thinking this way because technically Belle could have his entire life. It's just that she'd be leaving him behind. Uh-oh. Oh. Did he pass? Or is he just not doing good? Okay, he's still alive. Hmm. Really? Hmm. Oh. Damn. That's sad. Oh shit. Oh. Damn. We didn't get to see Iz's reaction to that scene. I'm pretty sure she was standing there too. Kinda. I know that wasn't the point of the whole scene, you know, and that was a very good scene, but I'm curious because, like, pretty much everyone cried, even Belle did, except for Hestia, you know, because she was trying to. I think she was trying to put on like a strong face for him at the end. But I'm wondering what Eyes' emotions were. Hmm. Oh. Oh. It reminds me, very similar to the conversation that Belle and Artemis had in the movie. Eyes. What are you doing? Just walks in the scene and looks at the stars, alright. Oh, his grave. Oh. You get the outro music. It's kind of funny. It happens in a lot of anime, but whenever there's like someone that dies and they visit the grave shortly after their death. Oh, there's Asphy. They caught him. All right. Ares has been taken. But whenever there's a grave, it's never like dug up. It always has like nice fresh grass over it. Hestia. Uh, cool. Do 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 do. Cool. And that's gonna be it, right? Oh, oh shit! They're leaving us with a stinger, possibly. What? Who dis? What? What? Alright, I guess that's it. Yeah. There is just a bunch of credits rolling through. I don't think there's anything else after them. I doubt it. That'd be weird. Okay, no, we're good. That's the end of episode 12, guys, and that's the end of season 2. Man, that was a good season. I don't know what to think about that ending bit. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but that was a good finale. I liked it. It wasn't. I mean, I guess it kind of was. I thought it was gonna. Honestly, I thought it was gonna be more of Belle, doing the talking, but really it was like Hestia kind of encouraging Belle. Like, I thought Belle was gonna be the one to talk to Hestia and kind of apologize for like how abruptly he essentially turned her down in that hypothetical situation that she brought up in the previous episode, you know. But no, it was really her encouraging him, and it's really interesting because I said it during the reaction, but it's interesting to think that he's the one that's thinking about the short lifespan, because usually you get that kind of like emotional thought process from the person themselves that are long living, you know, whenever there's a show that involves someone that lives a long time and love's involved and everything. I don't know. I always feel like it's the person that lives forever that's like, well, if I get, you know, I can't get too close because then you're just going to be gone, you know, and stuff like that. But it's very interesting that it's from Belle's perspective, where Belle's thinking, you know, even though I guess it is true that he might have also thought that once he gets old, she might move on, you know, and stuff like that, but because he did seem to get, like, very emotional whenever she said, like, even when you grow old, I'll still be there for you, you know, and stuff like that. So maybe he was thinking kind of that, too, where he'd be able to live, like, most of his life with her, but then once he got once he got too old, she would then, you know, move on and stuff like that. But yeah, the whole conversation they had was great. It did, in some regards, it mirrored a lot of what Artemis said, but maybe that's just because that's the way the gods and goddesses think, you know? Because Artemis had the same kind of conversation where she was like, oh, well, I'll find you in, you know, 100 or 1,000 years or 10,000 years when you're reborn. I'll find you again, you know? Artemis said something along those lines in the movie. So, it felt really similar to that, but it was obviously a lot more heartfelt, I felt like, from Hestia rather than Artemis, because Artemis was someone that we just met in the movie, whereas Hestia we've been with for, you know, 2 seasons and a little bit in Sword Oratoria and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I liked their conversation. It was good. And, I mean, I still don't see a future with, while the show is still going, that Belle and Hestia are together like that, you know? I don't really know where Belle stands, because it definitely seems like Belle likes eyes, but, you know, it also seems like he just, I don't know. He respects every girl he meets, you know, so much that sometimes it's hard to tell, like, who he likes and who he doesn't, you know? But it definitely seems like he acts a lot more flustered around eyes, whereas he acts really flustered around girls when he first meets them, but, like, Haruhime he's already kind of more familiar with, and it doesn't seem like he's as awkward around her, but he's still very awkward around eyes, which leads me to believe eyes is the one that he still, you know, truly likes. But, you know, this episode, it almost kind of seemed like Belle was, like, I don't know, there was some of the lines that it felt like Belle, the only reason Belle wasn't with Hestia was because she's a goddess. And that seemed like kind of his thought process. But I don't know if that's entirely the case. Like, even if she wasn't a goddess, I think he'd still like eyes instead. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just interpreting what I read wrong. But that's just, like, the vibe that I got a little bit. Either way. A lot of animes don't actually do relationships, though, which is why, like, I imagine we're never really gonna see Belle with anybody, you know, especially because that would, like, especially in a show like this where there's just a lot of women that are always like grabbing onto him and they want the gags of like Hestia and like Lily getting mad and stuff like that. And if Belle's with someone, then it'd be weird if they kept doing those kind of antics, you know. So it's just a lot of times in anime they don't break up the status quo by making a couple of the people have relationships unless it's an actual romance anime, you know, where that stuff really happens. But anyway, the old man was a very like kind of touching addition to the story. Now, is he the mayor of that? I think he's the mayor of Arario, isn't he? Or is he just the mayor of that small town they were in? Because he said it's the mayor's home in the mountains, which made me think it's the mayor of Arario and he just comes to these mountains, but then they were at like a whole little village too. So maybe he's just the mayor of that little village? I'm not sure. Maybe I read something wrong. Either way, he was he had a very touching story where, you know, he fell in love with a goddess. I made the joke during the reaction of saying very convenient, because it's often that when a character is going through some kind of like love trouble or something, there's another character introduced with a very parallel story to kind of, you know, sway the main character's emotions in a certain direction. But yeah, he was brought in, you know, he and his goddess loved each other, and she ended up pushing him out of the way and saving him, essentially, by pushing him off a cliff, which was kind of funny. But she saved him, and she ended up returning to heaven, which is sad, you know. But you know what I thought about during this? You know, I guess he was still unsure, because he talked about, like, when I go to heaven, will I be able to see her? But then he's scared that he wouldn't be able to see her. But is that because he might not go to heaven? Like, I'm curious about what people's stances are in this world of, like, heaven and hell and stuff like that. And if the goddess, or if the gods have descended, I would definitely believe that there was a heaven after that. Which really makes me wonder all the people in this world that do bad things. Like, in Season 1, all the people that were, like, really, like, treating, Lily poorly and stuff. Those were some of, like, the worst people we saw. And they were even, like, betraying each other and stuff like that when they were in the dungeon and stuff like that. But, like, if the gods have descended, I'd be like, okay, that must mean there is a heaven and hell. And that must mean if I do bad shit, I'm going to go to hell and burn for eternity. Like, I don't want to make this a religious thing, but I'm not really religious myself, you know? I wouldn't really say that I'm atheist, you know? I mean, maybe it is me being considered atheist. It's like, I don't say that there isn't a god, but I don't believe in a god, if that makes sense. Like, if there was suddenly proof that there is a god somehow, I would be like, alright, you know, I wouldn't be like, no, this goes against everything I believe, I'm an atheist, you know. I'd just be like, I'd just accept the facts in front of me, you know. But I don't really believe in any kind of god or anything, so I don't really believe in a heaven or hell, so I believe, like, you know, I obviously don't believe that doing bad things is right, but I also don't believe that, you know, if you have sex before you're married, you're going to hell or whatever, like some of that stuff in the Bible and all that. I just think that once you die, you're gone, so you gotta make the most of this life that you have, you know, because it's gone when it's over, you know. That's kind of just how I feel and how I live and everything. So, but if I suddenly had this realization that heaven existed and hell existed, I would do everything in my power not to burn eternally. Like, that would not be fun. So, I obviously would conduct myself according to every single rule that would keep me to going to heaven, you know? Like, so like, it's interesting that people in this world still do bad things, but I guess it is realistic, because I bet you even if there was, like, undisputable proof that heaven and hell existed in our world, there would still be people doing fucked up shit, right? There's no doubt in my mind there would be. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting because we've always talked about, like, the gods have descended from heaven, but we never really had any humans talking about going to heaven after they die, right? Like, it was never really brought up in the show until this episode, and it really just made me start thinking about all, like, the bad humans and stuff like that, and what, like, I can't believe that they are doing all this bad shit if they know that hell awaits them, you know? Anyway. But yeah. I mean, other than that, this season was a good season, if I'm going to talk about the season as a whole. I really liked, like, the war game stuff was cool. It was a season that didn't really have much dungeon at all, you know? Basically, every storyline, you know, I believe the first episode we had them starting off in the dungeon. We had another episode where they were in the dungeon for a little bit and then Aisha attacked them, right? But other than that, we had them talking about going to the dungeon, but we didn't really get to see a whole lot of it. So, like, it's kind of cool because I do like the change of pace, you know? Because obviously there's only, like, I talked about it in another episode, but there's only so much you can do when it comes to the dungeon stuff. But I'm guessing next season is going to have to do a dungeon stuff based off what happened at the end there, you know? At least somewhat, anyway, because I imagine, you know, just storytelling purposes, Belle is gonna run into that girl in the dungeon and want to help her, you know, in some way. But, and he's gonna be picking up a girl in a dungeon. Might be, like, one of the first times. I guess you could, in a way, consider how Eyes and Belle met to be picking up a girl in a dungeon, but this might be literal. Anyway, but yeah, it'll be kind of cool to get back to some dungeon stuff because I do like the dungeon crawly adventures. I do miss that a little bit from season 1. You know, I felt like the fight between Aisha and Belle was really good, but I feel like we didn't get, like, an epic Minotaur level fight, you know? Like, I felt like that fight was so grand that it had, like, I don't think any of the fights in this season has really, like, held up to it. I'd like to see something like that again, you know, where Belle is just, like, going to town on something that he's outmatched against, but he's really motivated, so he manages to do it, you know? Because I was just, like, I don't know, I felt really inspired by the Minotaur fight, but then obviously, like, some of the other fights in this season were good, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like I wasn't as inspired. I did really like the fight with Belle versus the frog and then versus Aisha. Both of those were good. I think the problem is you don't get, like, the satisfaction of seeing them die because they don't really kill, like, actual people too much in the show, you know? I'm not going to say not at all, because some do, as we just saw in this episode, they killed a goddess, but and the old man died too, it's just he wasn't killed, he just died from old age. But, yeah, I mean, I think just seeing that, like, finishing blow happen is just like, oh, yeah, he did it. Whereas, like, when you're fighting a person that you don't get to see that, like, confirmed kill, it's like, okay, Belle punched Aisha with his fireball, is she gonna get up again? And you sit there and you wait to see if they're gonna get up again, you know? And that's, like, one of the problems I have with person-on-person fights in anime where I know they don't just, like, straight murder people, you know? Because, like, it kind of takes the wind out of my sails when I'm just not sure if they're dead or not. Or, not dead, but I'm not sure if they're beaten or not. It's like, okay, are they going to get up from that? Is the fight over? It felt like that was the finale. Is it? It's like, okay, it is. Okay, that was cool. You know, that's basically, like, my thought process going through some of those fights. But yeah, seeing some dungeon stuff would be cool. I don't know what's up with that girl. Like, the dungeon just spit out a girl. And she seemed to not know where she is. Maybe she doesn't know who she is either. Did the dungeon just, like, birth this girl? Or was she, like, taken and now has been released? Or she somehow escaped? I don't know. There's so much we don't know about the dungeon, how it just, like, spits out these monsters, and they almost acted like the way Hermes in, I think, season 1 or maybe Sword Oratoria talked about the dungeon was almost like it was like a living thing. Like he said it one time, he said it's angry that we've sealed it down here, you know, like it's angry that the monsters aren't allowed to escape the dungeon into the world, you know. So I'm wondering if there is like something more to the dungeon of being like an actual like big living being or something. I don't know. But we also had a little bit more, I guess, to go back to this episode a little bit, even though I was kind of talking. I started talking about season 2 as a whole, and then I kind of got sidetracked and started talking about some other stuff. But anyway, the whatchamacallit. The dragon scales were brought up again. Second episode in a row that the black dragon stuff was brought up, and it's interesting that Belle took it so seriously. They're like, oh, the black dragon helping people, and maybe that was a translation issue. It's very possible it was, but it's like I said during the reaction. It's not really that the black dragon is protecting these people. It's just like the scales happen to ward off monsters, so they use them. You know, it's kind of like. It's a really, like, terrible thought that I just came up with, but it's kind of like how when we use, like, cowhides or something to keep us warm. It's not that the cows are trying to keep us warm, it's that we're just utilizing something that we took off the cows and are using it in that way, you know? So, anyway. I wonder if because the black dragon seems like it could be like a manga finale kind of thing. I wonder how, but I also could just, like, I don't know. I feel like Belle has a long way to go before he can fight something that Zeus and Hera's familia, who was like one of the strongest familias, could take on, you know? So I feel like that's something way in the future, but I mean, we've seen Belle overcome some crazy shit. I'm guessing next season's gonna have a lot to do with that girl we just saw, but I'm not sure, like, what all that is gonna entail. She was like an elf, but she also had darker skin, so I wonder if she's gonna be like a dark elf, you know? Like, just thinking about my lore ideas of, you know, D&D and other stuff like that, where, you know, I know dark elves are a race in some stories, and we've seen elves, but we haven't really heard of dark elves. I wonder if that's going to be something, you know, but anyway. But yeah, I mean, I really liked, as for, like, going back to talking about general Season 2 stuff, I really liked Haruhime's story. I honestly, like, thinking about it a little more, even though I just watched the episode, I just watched episode 11 not too long ago, just like 30-40 minutes ago I was watching it, but I don't know how big of a fan I am of the whole idea that they let Haruhime believe that she was, like, a prostitute had by many men, you know? Like, I feel like that's something just so wrong about that. Like, Aisha has a point. She's been able to overcome to this point, but she was also miserable for years. Like, yes, she's overcome it now, but I feel like she would be so much happier to find out that her virginity is still intact, you know? Like, that she isn't as tainted as she had always thought, because I'm sure there's still a little bit of that in the back of her mind, and she could have given her peace of mind by just telling her, but I don't know. There's something that, like, doesn't sit well with me with that. I kind of wish Haruhime knew, I don't see why you wouldn't tell someone. I mean, I don't know. Because, like, I guess there's, like, the argument you could make that's like, oh, well, she's built her personality based on this aspect of her life, and if you remove that, her personality might change. But I don't think in this case it would. It's like, it's like, I don't know what to compare it to. But it's just, I mean, other than what I compared it to in the previous discussion about the Doctor Who episode. But I don't know, I was just thinking about, like, it's just like drugging a girl over and over and telling her that you had sex with her, but you really didn't, and just letting it stew forever and just never telling her the truth. Like, I don't know, it's just messed up. But anyway, yeah, weird situation. But other than that, I liked Haruhime's storyline. Other than that one aspect, I like how she was this person who had a lot of, like, self-hate and everything, and didn't think she deserved to be saved, but managed to actually be saved in the end, and then, actually be able to come out of her shell and asked to be saved and asked for help and stuff like that, even though she didn't think that she deserved it. I thought it was a really good story. So, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting into season 3. I'm curious about who that dark elf chick thing birthed from the dungeon is, and I wonder how soon after season 3 starts that Belle's gonna run into her, because I know Belle's obviously gonna be the one to find her. But yeah, so I also wonder, are they gonna get into the idea that there are some sentient monsters in the dungeon? And what kind of conflict will that bring up in Arario? Are there going to be people that think anything that comes from the dungeon deserves to die? So is Belle going to try to, like, take her out of the dungeon, and someone's going to be like, no, that's a monster birthed from the dungeon, we have to kill her. And then it's going to start, like, some shit over that, I wonder. Or will people not even know that sentient things can be born in the dungeon? Like, I guess we know that there's, like, the spirit things, right, that we had in Sword Oratoria. We had the one girl that was eating crystals, the redhead. And then we had the big, like, plant spirit boss thing that they fought towards the end of that season. And that thing was, like, talking and speaking. Seems like it had a personality in some way, even though it seemed a bit, like, corrupted. So I'm wondering, like, maybe it's just another sentient thing from the dungeon like that. So I wonder how many people know that there's sentient stuff like that, like, deeper in the dungeon. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that was good. Good stuff. I'm looking forward to the next season. That's it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure you check out my Patreon, where you can see some of these episodes early until I catch up, as well as early access for some of my other shows. And I have Patreon exclusives on there, such as Soul Eater and The Boys, which is actually ending soon, so that'll be coming out on YouTube very soon. But that just means another Patreon exclusive will take its place, where I'll watch the entire show on Patreon first. So, there's, I'm on episode, like, 31 of Soul Eater, so you can check out my Patreon to see all 31 episodes of those right now, or you can wait until eventually it shows up on YouTube. But yeah, also hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Very much appreciated, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my future reactions. Bye-bye.